is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to finish the month off strong, totally that, and take a little look at some of the nonsense that comes out of Chantal's mouth. A lot of it goes in, first clip of which when we play it, there are a couple points we need to raise, but a lot of it comes out of her mouth mostly. She chats a lot of number twos, right? She writes checks with her mouth that she can't cash. It's funny. It's why the haters have a lot of content. It's not just that though. When she chats all this number two, she contradicts stories. And a couple of them I want to highlight within this anyway, with clips that were shared to Twitter, because going through the videos is cancer, especially as one of them is a live stream. So the first set of clips we're going to go through come directly from a mukbang where she was eating pizza. Now this is undoubtedly after being paid, so she had money to buy big food, which would have made her very happy and sustained her for at least 4 hours. Considering the situation she's in, which is getting worse and worse and worse and more closer to the area of dire, I'm impressed she's willing to keep doing this. But I do have a sneaky feeling, based on the community she's created, she'll end up like Hungry Fat Chick. But whereas Hungry Fat Chick is not a remotely controversial person, Chantal's failings, if she actually did lose weight, would be because people would be bored of her and she'd lose her audience, then would have to keep eating to get them back, along with being rude to them. It's a theory I've had that she's now, much like Amber, a bit of a slave for views. It's why she has little donation goals, which she doesn't hit most of the time. And the cameo thing as well, I believe, where people can give her money to do very particular mukbangs. Specific, I think is the correct word. So let's dive into some of the clips from the pizza mukbang and see what nonsense comes out of her mouth or goes into her mouth today. Okay, so there are 3 things we need to address. Firstly, ew on the mouth noises. That was intentionally done because ASMR is quite popular and it certainly does lean into the kink of feeders. Second, Chantal barely chews her food, which leads on to the third part. Why does she tilt her head back? Now I think she does it because she doesn't have a gullet, some have, where they can just open it up and take food in without having to, or drinks, without having to give too much thought to, chewing it. Because the stomach does the rest, which is how people like idiots like Bevo act, and then rate it 7 out of 10. You know the rules. I'm going to still lean on the belief that Chantal doesn't really have many real teeth left, and that those front 2 are dentures. And I don't think she chews, I think she wiggles her mouth. Because she has so much food there, which is why she was shoveling it in, she tilted her head back to get it down quicker. And she still doesn't do more than 6 chews typically for food, less if it is like rice, because she can just swallow that whole.
Autumn, Halloween, stuff like that, you know? And yes, I'll say it again one last time. I can celebrate Halloween as long as I don't worship Satan as a Muslim, okay?
At no point has Halloween ever been about the worship of Satan. I know it is associated with things that are more supernatural. I swear that wasn't me. That was Mia announcing herself. You're welcome, everyone. No, it's associated with like ghosts and monsters. Satan doesn't feature, but I know there are costumes. Its origins for Halloween is rooted in Samhain, and then All Hallows Eve. So pagan holiday, and then Christians because they destroyed the pagans. There are no satanic roots at all. Anyone that thinks Halloween's an association or is in association in cahoots with Satanism usually comes from a level of misunderstanding which is typical of Chantal. I'm not surprised in a standalone video she would do this. She's done this of late with very weird, like, non-sequitur conversations to pad the video out so it's not just her sat there eating going, oh, which has become a bit of a trademark of hers of late. And because of the asinine nature of these conversations, it just shows how dumb she is.
And I don't. On Halloween, I worship chocolate bars, not Satan. You know? The only one I worship, Allah. Alhamdulillah. Alright guys, and
first things first, we know you worship food, you don't need to tell us otherwise. You can call them God if you wish, your deity could in fact be a big dairy milk, who am I to judge, or Hershey's because you like inferior quality. No one believes you are a believer of any kind of deity in the slightest, and if you were, you'd be one of the bigger insults to that faith. I'm not a religious person, I don't subscribe to the idea of any faith, any kind of disbelief either. I don't care for any of it. As far as I'm concerned, it's crap. But you using it as you do, and trying to raise it as a point to make yourself seem like you're more in tune with your good and faithful and honest and truthful and lovely, lovely, lovely side, is just a smokescreen for what you really are. In fact, I could believe if Satan existed, you were created by Satan to entertain us. But since Satan doesn't exist, we can just blame your parents for failing?
Today, I thought I would revisit an old story time because I used to do pizza mukbangs a lot. I was well known for those and my crazy story times.
In this video, she does revisit some of her old stories, but what she does is retell a story differently to remove some of the more unsavoury elements that could get her into trouble with her beloved husband, so she can appear even more like a good Muslim or a Muslim in waiting, right? The only thing I remember of your story times were the TMIs, when you would tell us of all the guys you banged and how they would interact with your body. The Dingleberry story's the one. It's because of Michael B. Petty, man. I remember that so clearly because of him, and it's so hard to get that out of my head. We got her with the Dingleberries being picked out of a bottom. We've got Amber Lynn Reid, or just Amber these days. Amber, backing dead ass. This vehicle is reversing into the edge of a sink with a washcloth. The poor, defenceless washcloth. F in the comments. Not only for the person picking the Dingleberries, although that's an interesting one, alright, but also the washcloths. Poor guys never deserved that. They deserve to live. Now, I only really need to show you those 3 clips because basically this is the style of content she is now producing. She'll tell some random story, retell a random story, contradict old information, which ties into Salah a little because he had... Oh god, the age thing confused me. He posted a picture of him with some medals. Now, I have no issue with anyone who has won anything or participated in anything martial arts. I did judo as a kid. I have no issue at all. Never competed because I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just like the training part. I do, though, have some finalist medals for Warhammer painting. So I've got something I was happy to beat others with. Since I can't airbrush and I can't do non-metallic painting, I know damn well I'm never going to be any good anymore. But it doesn't matter. Salah had posted a picture and given us another timeline based on Chantel's timeline, the age gap between them and the age of when he got them. It doesn't line up. It's so confusing. I swear it's done on purpose. Another one of these cute little smoke screens to either make him seem younger or older. Or younger according to them, but older when we realise the actual number, right? It's just so dumb. It really is. So we'll go to one of her live streams with some clips that were shared about as well.
Yeah, but that she called him a crackhead, a dishwasher, a druggie, an abuser. So he is a druggie and he is an abuser, yes. And all she has to do is show the Sam's Bar Lounge video if he ever takes her to court, so...
This, for the sake of context, is Chantel yet again inserting herself into the life of Nada, somebody who I'm somewhat impressed never bothered to copyright claim or privacy complaint Chantel, considering whenever she's mentioned him, that is, he would have had ample opportunity to do that, but he didn't. Misa thinking these are still in contact. I really do believe that. It's funny to me that Chantel mentions this kind of stuff because she inserted herself into certain dramas and then claimed videos of APUSE were hers. But there is no video. It's all anecdotal from Chantel. Sounds like Amber giving evidence these days, doesn't it?
Hey, Green Grape. I mean... I'm not the type of person to just, like, agree with someone. Like, I'm, you know...
Based on that fashion runway walk you did and FFG went there to meet you, I'm not inclined to believe that. You become a bit of a sucker when it comes to in-person meetings. Even if it is with your arch-nemesis. Yes.
Her response is actually not that great. No doubt, because Lisa Manning is a joke of a fucking lawyer, that's why. She's a Lionel Hutz in Gore World. Lionel Hutz. You don't even have to be a lawyer to know that you cannot request his legal income taxes. Right?
I'm somewhat impressed that this is the conversation Chantel wants to be having. Lionel Hutz, by the way, is a character from The Simpsons. When it comes to discussing anything about Nada, I would have thought, considering all that you claim he did to you, went back on and then claim he did anyway, that you would want to distance yourself from ever referencing him because that would give him further relevancy. Diminished because you no longer carry much internet weight, you carry real weight. So it's a bit of a different currency. But Chantal having to mention Nada as an excuse to create conversation or allowing it to persist is a damning statement for what little she has in the way of stream quality. Then again, she does just fire up a stream and get on with it. There's no intro, starting soon thing, get the audience in. It's not a show, even though to her it is a show. It is the lowest common denominator because it makes her the most money, and she doesn't really make much money at the same time. We know this because she does do some videos near the end of the month, cooking food. I'm wondering how much of her salary is, what she makes from YouTube, salary-wise, goes on paying debt.
Cease and desist is very easy to draw up, yeah. Are you able to do your own? You could find templates, but I don't think it's like legally binding unless it's like drafted by a lawyer. I don't know.
Consider this a public service announcement. If you are a streamer and all you do is sit staring at the chat, waiting for them to engage with you so you can give them nuggets of wisdom, bad talk other people, try and vaguely understand something you don't understand, you're a crap streamer. Simple as that. We have more clips though, so I'm going to go to something slightly different.
Even if it was Special Olympics, biatch, FAS looking ugly, Cabbage Patch, I would still love him.
Chantal has been stealing insults from Goral World, as it's known, although I would point out that I had speculated years ago, I'd say 2019, possibly earlier, that Chantal looked like somebody with fetal alcohol syndrome, which is more commonly known as FAS. These insults are a direct shot at, well, you mentioned Cabbage Patch, it's got to be Yaba, I think. I've heard her use that regurgitated insult series. She likes to throw all the same insults back at the people sending them her way, but I'm going to claim ownership of FAS because I didn't recall anyone else within Hater Nation saying it before Goral World rose up. Yes, I'm claiming that, and I'm very proud of it, along with Make England Great Again, which has been stolen as well. I'm a little bit salty.
He's liberal. Oh, cool, yeah. I'm glad Polyev didn't get in, that's all.
Right now, I will admit I've spent an inordinate amount of time laughing at Canada and laughing at the Conservatives who had a really good chance to win because their strategy was to attack Liberals for being Liberals when all they did was change the leader who, at that point, Carney was never elected. He was simply chosen. It cracked me up to no end that people would vote for Liberals who for 10 years have had a pretty good run of hurting the economy massively and are now using the former governor for the Bank of England to try and seem like they're economically stable. So hopefully in 4 years it goes well, but if not, learn your sodding lesson. Chantal having an opinion on Canadian politics is funny, considering the only thing she wants from it is the one thing she doesn't have access to, healthcare. She doesn't have access to it because she owes money in taxes, and she's not paying that either. And I know taxation is theft, but when it comes to Chantal, I'd like to think that she does owe, and so she should pay. Your Canadian elections, much like the German elections and the French elections, tickled me to no end. We English have suffered enough, and it's only been a year. Hopefully the rest of you catch up. Enjoy that. And no, I'm not suggesting voting Conservative or Reform. I subscribe to No Lives Matter. Vote for me, I end all of you, it's over, you're welcome.
And I know she hates me, and she wants me to be beat up. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna come beat me up yourself? Bring it on, bitch. I've been watching lots of Kung Fu movies. Racist to Canadians. Yeah, it's like because she's like beefing with like, she doesn't like me and she doesn't like FFG, so now she's like against all Canadians.
That is a perfectly reasonable position to take for the 51st state of the United States of America. I have Labour in government. I'm allowed to laugh at your suffering as well. If you don't like that, I don't care.
No offense, but you kind of make Indiana look really dumb, so I wouldn't talk.
Rather than play more of this, I want to highlight that Chantal likes to take digs at where people are from, where they live, and then speak down about them. You're Canadian, you're clearly not educated, you like to rag on others for their education level, you have no creativity, no original thoughts, you take all your insults from other people. Your clapbacks, your best ones came when you were drunk and high in Cuba. And I say they're your best ones, they were the worst ones as well. You don't have an iota of a leg to stand on in two very different areas. One being physical, because seriously you can't walk much at all, you waddle. You're almost at the level of Amber, South Park-esque character movement, and you're certainly looking as wide as she is. The only reason you might look slightly thinner is filters and that chin strap you wear around your head. You don't have any leg to stand on here either, because you give and take. You claim to want to be better, but you undo it immediately because you need them. The symbiotic relationship you have with your haters will, because of your ego, persist until your dying day, upon which one of those aforementioned haters will take your place, and they know exactly who they are. They've certainly lost enough subs recently because of another shitty stunt they pulled. Now, as we are done, because I don't really see a point in playing more, I just want to show that our content really is dead. That's why the end of year reviews are kind of crap. All over the place, but crap. Do let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to be streaming Star Trek on Twitch later. Hope to see you there. If not, have a wonderful day. Even you Canadians, I know, you don't deserve to suffer, but you're going to for a while longer, I'm sorry. And thank you all very much for listening.